Hey everyone, welcome back to the Team Empire channel. It's JC here, and me, Jack, and Lupe just got back from, or finished, Bushiroad Summerfest Irving, and we finished 3rd place overall. Really good day, and today I'm just going to be going over my deck profile. We'll do shoutouts and stuff at the end. So, just jumping right into it. Played Bavsargra. It'll be a pretty short deck profile because, like, you know, most people already have this on their team, and there's not a lot of variance right now since the Vylord limit is not in. So 3 Persona Ride, 2 Sword because you want to loop Sword and just get infinite power, 2 Shield to, the second shield is mostly for like if one goes to damage, which doesn't happen that often, but if you're going first and you don't have your hammer or like a second sword, like, it's not bad to draw an extra card. And then 1 hammer. This is actually a very important card, getting rid of nasty back row pieces that the deck can't usually deal with. Like if you're playing against Levidross, you go against you get their Squirrel. If you're playing against Vyrgilla now, you can get rid of their like 13k boosters. A lot of really relevant matchups. And then most of the time, this is what you'll arm going first.
I'm Blangdmire too.
Yeah, against Blangdmire, you get rid of Alchemist. And then going first, you'll do this because it's still just Twin Drive, and then you can add a card back for like a PG. So, and then the only other grade 3 in the deck is the Regalis piece, Fire Regalis. This is like, probably the best generic Regalis piece. Not much to say there. For Apolra, some people play 3, but I'm playing 4 just because like everything that it does is essentially free. Really good early game tool. Even if you whiff, you feel fine, but most of the time you don't whiff since we still have 4 Vylord. And then in the late game, if you run out of your restanders, you just call 2 of these to refill your board with like a Trick Moon and a Cindy. Really, really, really good card. Then obviously for restander, not seeing this is pretty bad. Like the deck gets significantly weaker without your multi-attack, so going second, I usually try to keep one of these in hand. Very rarely use it early. The only time I used it early this tournament was against Prison, just to try to get like as much pressure on them before they're, so that way they can't reach Pure Light. So Yugmoshad is Yugmoshad. And then the only other grade 2 is the Ace unit. So this was a very easy inclusion whenever it came out. These cards are just like so good. Another form of back row removal, which I think this came up at least in half of my games, and it was really clutch in my last game in top 3, which I'll talk about later, but he just stayed on the board like the whole game, and he was a free 20k beater, which was insane. Then grade 1s for Vylord. Again, some lists are still playing like 3, which is I guess fine, but like we should just take advantage of 4 while we still have it. This card is just insanely broken. First or second, but especially first, like you just make the craziest numbers putting this behind Vanguard. I don't think I have to explain what Vylord does. Now the only thing in my list that would be different from most is I played 2 Cindy's and 2 Shenris. I made this change a while ago. If you ask Jack, Lupe, and some other people on the team, when I was playing 4 Cindy, it felt really bad having like more than one of this and not having any of like my Vyrlords or like Trick Moons, which happens pretty frequently if you ask Bavsargra players. Like I've had several games where I don't see Vylord or I don't see Trick Moon, and having 4 of these just felt really bricky. I was like, I think the deck accelerates through itself enough for me to be able to play 2 of this and then put some like additional draw power in / early game. And so I just went with this. I saw Cindy every single game, which I know might not always happen, but saw Cindy every game, and then anytime I had Shenri early, it was pretty easy just to leave her on the board until I reached grade 3 because I knew that I would be clearing my opponent's board. And then late game, if you have 2 Vylords set up already and you have a Shenri in drop, you just have a free draw engine that comes back every single turn, which didn't actually happen this tournament, but it has happened in prior tournaments where I would do that loop. Also, I had both of these on the last turn of my top 3 game for top 3, and it actually like without this, it would have, I don't know if I would have won. I think the 5k really did matter. So it's my only big difference in the list. For Trick Moon, you have to see him. Like Luckily in this tournament, I always saw Trick Moon. There were no problems with that. So that's all the, other than the PGs, that's all the normal units. Not much to say here. Like, yeah, you still want an Elementaria in this deck. Like, you just never know. And then triggers, you know, a crit, 3 front, 3 normal heal, 1 restand heal. Didn't actually come up a lot this event. I played up against several decks that had restanders, but I just didn't see it all the time. The time it became most important was against Vyrgilla, which is another reason why I put that in there, because Vyrgilla has restands 2 things now, so it has 2 instances that can be used, and then over trigger. So
play it while you can.
Yeah, play it while you can. Exactly. So I'll briefly go over my matchups. I'll try not to take too long. So round 1 was Artasaria. That was a pretty grindy game. Luckily, Jack and Lupe had already won, so when I went to time, like, didn't have to really worry about it. I think I was going to win that game. Second round was against my first Bavsargra mirror. I went second and damage denied him, and I don't think he'd been in that situation, so he was damage denying me back, which doesn't really work because going second, you get to search 2 of your arms cards. So basically, by the time he was on grade 3, he didn't have a sword. Like, and that doesn't always happen, obviously, but like he didn't have any pieces to search out another arms card. So I got to stock up my hand, and I got to 2 arms first, and it kind of just like stole the tempo of the game. Third round was against Vyrgilla. It was a pretty normal game. Just did Bavsargra stuff, and I tried to remove quite a few of his back row, because they don't have the Flare Cosmore yet. So getting rid of the normal Cosmore or their big boosters is actually a pretty good deal. Fourth round was against Levidros. Again, very grindy game. It basically whittled down to his last turn. He no longer had any like Levidros to put into Soul, and he didn't have the resources to be able to like counterblast and make more markers. So his last turn was only like 3 attacks, and it was very easy to whittle down. Well, he wasn't an easy opponent. Shout out to that team and Eddie from New York. They were really fun to meet. Fifth round was my first like official loss against Kyrie. I think, oh yeah, the main reason I lost that game is because he 6 damage healed twice in a row. Like, he took 2 damage and hit double heal. And
shout out to Team Dragon T.
Yes, Dragon T, yep. So, good for you, Evan. I think that was his first time beating me. he'll laugh about that, he's fine. Then round 6 was against Prison. Shout out to Joe's team, who also got top 8 this event. I was the only win that round, and I think I won because of Overtrigger, so like, cool. And then last round was another Bavsargra, which he checked Overtrigger. So in those in a lot of these mirror matches, you just have to be a little luckier than your opponent, and so he was. Then we got into top 8. I played against Joe's team again, Prison. Lost because he tri-laned me on turn 2 and checked Brent Gate OT. I was just so dead. Like, nothing I could do about that. Then Lupe and Jack won their games. Then we went to top 4. We lost that one, and I lost against Bavsargra. Again, just little variants here and there. The main reason he got it is because he was seeing his Persona rides and I wasn't. So it was a pretty grindy game, but like, I was just having to drop more each turn because of numbers. And then our last round was playing for 3rd place. I played against Bat, and this was a long game. It was like a 45-minute game. Really cool opponent.
There was no time either on this round.
No time in the last round. And he went first, did all his Bat stuff. I damage denied him, and then on my first turn 3, his first damage was defensive OT, so he still had 0 damage, which ended up benefiting me a little bit, but I was like, I have no clue how I'm going to like basically 0 to 6 this guy after he has like a 15 card hand. The game was super long, super grindy, and then at some point I hit a 6 damage heal, which completely restabilized my game. His last turn, he didn't have he only had like 2 different set orders, and he only did 3 attacks. And it all came down to like a 1 to pass on the Vanguard, and I hit a heal trigger. And then after that, he didn't have like anything to guard. My columns were like 50 and 48 or something like that. And
Yeah, he had like 1 crit. He had like 1 crit trigger in hand and a bunch of set orders.
it was the deciding game too. I mean, everyone was watching. It was probably one of the best games. I know I'm not describing it very well, but it was probably one of the best games of Vanguard I've ever played in my life.
You had to be there. I
Yeah.
wanted to see it.
So shout out to that opponent, because man, that was a good game. It was a very it was definitely worth being a like deciding game for something like that. So I'll get some shout outs out of the way real quick. Shout out to obviously Jack and Lupe, my teammates. When we were preparing for this event back in like June, maybe even earlier, we were both like, we want to win this event, which didn't happen, but like we got pretty damn close, and we were all trying really hard and really focused. So shout out to them. Shout out to the rest of the boys in Team Empire for always being supportive and just awesome to be around. Shout out to anyone from San Antonio, and then obviously all the teams that we played against today. Everyone we played against today was really cool, had a really good time, didn't have any sort of drama, which is really good to not have in a game. So thank y'all for watching, even though it's just a Bavsargra deck profile. And be on the lookout, obviously make sure you watch Jack and Lupe's deck profiles as well. See ya.